Hi, this is Savannah, and I will be talking through my final presentation, Permanent Hearing Loss. The person I interviewed is Hannah, and she is the adult child of her mother who was diagnosed with the measles as a baby and then permanent hearing loss. Hannah learned fluent sign language as a child in order to communicate with her mother. I found that 1 in 14 people who get the measles get an ear infection after. Ear infections in children can be dangerous and lead to permanent hearing loss. Some early signs of hearing loss in children are lower number of phrases understood, words produced, and gestures. When Hannah grew up, she lived in Sioux Falls, South Dakota in a 1-story house with her mom, dad, and 2 siblings. Both of her siblings also had to use sign language at a young age. Through her childhood and adult years, Hannah and her mother both dealt with some struggles together during her mom's hearing loss. Some early childhood communication modifications that Hannah had to make. As a baby, she had to learn sign language from her mother, and if she had to get her mom's attention, she had to bang on the couch, stop what she was doing and go tap her, or use vibration and stomp on the floor. Hannah would always have to answer the phone and talk for her mom if somebody called. Nonverbal communication was essential in Hannah's childhood. Facial expressions, body posture, hand gestures were all aiding with communication while using sign language to determine the dynamic of the message. Altogether, Hannah's life was not much different than other kids her age, except for there was some slight awkwardness when she told her friends that her mom couldn't hear. Hannah's mother was very self-sufficient. She did not feel that she was handicapped. She often worked 2 to 3 jobs and stayed very busy. She had a great attitude, and when people questioned her abilities, she would say, "Well, I'm just like anybody else. Doesn't mean I can't work." Hannah's mother did not feel handicapped. She believed she could do anything somebody with hearing could do, and loved proving people wrong. She was sarcastic. Hannah asked her if she knew what people were saying at work when they exaggerated their mouth movements when talking in her face, because they believe people with hearing loss can read lips. That's not always the case. And her mom signed back to her no and rolled her eyes sarcastically. Most of the time, Hannah's mother would just smile and nod when people were talking to her because most people do not know fluent sign language. She still made the best out of her life, and it was all normal to her. Hannah and her mother did face some struggles of sadness and grief at times together. It was sad for Hannah growing up that her mother never got to hear her actual voice or the emotion in it. Hannah is sure that it was sad for her mom as well. Hannah's mother sometimes struggled with parenting 3 kids and unable to talk or hear them, especially when getting mad. One day, when Hannah grew up and had her own job and family, she moved to Mankato, Minnesota. She received news of terminal cancer from her mom over the phone from a translating machine. She couldn't hear her mom's voice, and her mom couldn't hear her daughter's voice or emotional response from that moment. Hannah felt especially helpless because she couldn't be there at the time. Hannah's mother couldn't understand doctors at future appointments, and there was no translator available like there is today. Eventually, Hannah's mother died alone, and that was the hardest part for Hannah to get through. In conclusion, some of the themes that I recognized during this interview were at first empathy and happiness, and then towards the end, more sadness and loss. Hannah appeared to enjoy talking about the memories of her mother, and she did so effortlessly. She felt proud to talk about her mom in the way that she was. Moments of talking about bad health news, Hannah almost started tearing up, thinking about how scary it must have been for her mom at that time, and she kind of relived those memories. The biggest takeaway that I got out of this interview is just because someone may have a disability, it does not prevent them from accomplishing goals and having a happy life. It's all about the love, support, and personal capabilities you believe you have. I also realized from this interview that people with disabilities believe they have normal lives, others may not. It's all about learning to adapt and accepting it as the new norm for yourself. I hope you enjoyed my presentation. Thank you.